In today's video, I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant about the events within Rainbow Six Siege and how I believe they've kind of been degrading in quality over the years. From the lackluster modes themselves to low effort returning events, they're just not as good as they used to be. Starting off with the most iconic event, this was the very first event that Ubisoft ever released, and it was the Outbreak event. Now, this was released all the way back in March of 2018. It was the first event Ubisoft ever tried to implement into Siege, and it was arguably the best of all time, even today. Now, this event was so good that it inspired the Rainbow Six Extraction spin-off game, which is unfortunately not as well received as this event. That game is actually no longer supported with updates from Siege now, so it's actually kind of a dead game, even though it's only been out for just over a year. But looking past that, we can say that the original event that it was based on all the way back in 2018 was an absolute masterpiece. It had like 5 unique missions, all had their own storyline and stuff you had to do within them. They introduced you to multiple different alien species that you had to fight in each mission, and overall almost every single aspect about the event was perfect. After the Outbreak event, we then had the Mad House event, which came in October of 2018, another great fun Halloween themed event with arguably some of the best cosmetics we've ever seen. Fast forward to April of 2019 and we get the Rainbow is Magic event. This one kind of came out of nowhere, no one was expecting it, and it was just a great fun April Fool's event, which then led to the Showdown event, Doctor's Curse event, Grand Larceny, which even to this day is one of my personal favorite events, and it's so sad to see that we've not seen it return. And every single one of these events was so unique, so well made, all of the cosmetics were really good, but above all else, you could see the amount of effort that Ubisoft were putting in to make those events as well made as they possibly can and keep them as fun as they could be. Now, after this generational run of events, Ubisoft kind of hit a grey patch with the community. They released 2 events back to back which weren't very well received for different reasons. The first event they released was the Mute Protocol event, which now looking back at it was trying to be special and unique. It had a pretty cool concept about it. Essentially what it was is the attackers could actually turn into their drones, and when they would come off of their drones, they would appear where their drone was, essentially allowing themselves to use their drones to get around the map. And on the defensive side, they could use the cameras scattered around the map to actually move around the map freely. Now, the main problem with this event is it led to a lot of bugs. Attackers were using their drones to get out of the map, inside walls, and even in the ceilings, and killing the defenders. And it was actually that bad of a problem that for the first 2 weeks that the event was supposed to be out, Ubisoft actually disabled it, and then after that 2-week period ended, they then brought it out properly. But even when they did eventually bring it back, the bugs were still there. People could still get outside of the map, and overall Ubisoft just decided to just stick with it because they didn't have enough time to fix it. Now, I'm not going to hate on Ubisoft too much because, as I said, they did try to implement a unique, cool kind of concept. However, it just wasn't executed properly, and it led to a lot of game-breaking issues. But with that being said, just a month later, in October of 2020, Ubisoft released the Sugar Fright event, which essentially is a kind of kill confirmed event where it was kind of TDM, Respawn-esque, and then you could go around the map, pick up the tags, and then those tags would turn into points. Now, this was the first time that Ubisoft ever implemented like a Respawn-esque game mode, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad at all, but it was one of the first events that I ever played that I found got pretty repetitive pretty quickly, and I actually didn't end up playing it for the entire time it was out. On top of that, I did find that the cosmetics, the doll puppet kind of things that they were going for, wasn't the best in my opinion. I mean, some of them are quite cool, don't get me wrong, it's essentially just their default skins but puppetized, but in my opinion they're just not that unique, and I wish they did a little bit more. Those were the first 2 events Ubisoft ever released in Rainbow Six Siege that were kind of negatively received by the community. A few people were complaining about it, not a lot of people played it the whole way through, and then from that point onwards we can kind of see a similar trend that even is in place today, and that is returning events. So after these 2 bad events back to back, they then released Rainbow is Magic 2, which was kind of changed a little bit, but not really. They essentially just brought back the same game mode. The community did still enjoy it, and it was still fun to play, and the people who missed it the first time around got to experience it. But I think from a developer point of view, Ubisoft realized that they could just reuse the assets and still make the same amount of money without putting in as much effort. Now, to be fair to Ubisoft, they did go ahead and release 2 brand new events again, which was the Apocalypse event, which was kind of confused, mixed bag from the community. They didn't really know how to react to it. It was kind of a strange game mode looking back on it, but the cosmetics were good, and overall I did still enjoy the game mode. And then the event that followed that one was the containment event, and that one was also pretty well received. However, with that being said, I'm just going to read out the next couple of events that we got and tell me if you notice a pattern. So after containment, we got Showdown 2. This was the returning of the Showdown event. All they did was add a few operators and cosmetics, but other than that, it was the exact same game mode. They then released Doctor's Curse 2, so returning Doctor's Curse event with once again a few extra skins. Other than that, the exact same game mode once again. In December of 2021, they released the Snowball event, which was a unique event at the time, and it was an okay event. After that, we had the Rengoku event, which was one of the most original ones that we've got in recent times. But after that, we got Mute Protocol 2, Doctor's Curse 3, Snowball 2, Rainbow is Magic 3, Rengoku 4, Doctor's Curse 4, and Containment 2. Now, the point that I'm getting at here is that since April of 2022, with the original Rengoku event, we've not seen a single new event in Rainbow Six Siege. All we've seen is returning events. And don't get me wrong, with each time it is returned, they've added a few extra operators and cosmetics. But for the most part, each event doesn't really change too much, especially Doctor's Curse. We've had that 4 times now, and it is a good event, but when you play the same event for the 4th time, you're not really going to want to play it for the 3-week period that it's out for. Now, what I want to see moving forward is a completely new event every once in a while. Don't get me wrong, if you want to bring Doctor's Curse back for a 5th time, do it, but maybe do it on like a different map or something, you know what I mean? If you do that same event but do it on Fortress or something different and something that we haven't seen for a while, then that would be fun as well. Another thing that I think I could safely say at the end of this video is that if Ubisoft ever decided to bring back the Outbreak event, I think it would probably break the player count once again. Also, if they bring back a few of the OG events that we haven't seen for literal years, like the Madhouse event all the way back from October of 2018, or even if we get like the Grand Larceny event from May of 2020 again, we haven't seen that for 4 years either, and that one has never returned. So hey, why don't you spice it up a bit and bring back an event that we haven't seen yet? With that being said, guys, that is the end of my rant. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comments. If you have your own opinions on certain events, let me know as well. Are you tired of returning events, and do you want to see something new? Let me know down below.